6 men began a journey they knew would be filled with promise, as well as peril. For every triumphant victory,
it's over. They won't even finish the count.
There would be a stunning defeat.
Andre Ward is the new super middleweight champion of the world.
The physical toll would be intense, and even substitute fighters would crumble under the burden.
He is just beating the brakes off Green now.
A loss did not mean the end, but redemption would not be easy.
Keep working the jab on him, Cole. You'll bust him up and break his arm.
Only the best would emerge, battle-hardened or unscathed.
He is the consummate boxer-puncher, and that's what he's showing us tonight.
Now that journey is at an end.
Here we go, round 12.
2 men stand at the precipice of greatness. 2 belts will be unified, and boxing's biggest tournament will crown its champion. Tonight, it's Ward versus Froch in the final of the Super 6 World Boxing Classic.
There are only 2 weeks remaining in 2011, and we've saved the best for last. Tonight, the Super 6 World Boxing Classic returns to Atlantic City for one of the biggest bouts in the history of this fight-crazy resort. The championship match of the Showtime Super Middleweight Tournament. Andre Ward and Carl Froch square off in a unification fight that is both hotly anticipated and hugely significant. We bring you inside historic Boardwalk Hall, where tonight the Super 6 World Boxing Classic crowns a king. In Ward's semifinal, he scored a unanimous decision over Arthur Abraham. Ward is the only Super 6 fighter who's won all his tournament bouts. Froch had a tougher road to the semis, yet he pounded out a majority decision over Glenn Johnson. It's WBA champion Andre Ward versus WBC titleist Carl Froch. The winner of this unification bout will be recognized as the best super middleweight in the world. It's the Super 6 final on Showtime. Hello again, everybody. Gus Johnson here in Atlantic City. Andre Ward, Carl Froch completes the Super 6 World Boxing Classic, which has been the most innovative tournament in boxing history. 8 different super middleweights have competed over a 2-year period. We've been to 9 cities and 5 countries, and we've landed right here. It will be decided tonight. And a welcome to my broadcast colleagues, the champ Antonio Tarver and Al Bernstein, who was recently, folks, selected to the International Boxing Hall of Fame. And this is an honor, certainly a testament to your love of the sport and your contributions to the sweet science. Congratulations, Al.
Thank you very much, Gus. Of course, it's an honor that I am thrilled about. And I'm also thrilled to be here for what could be a very important moment, not just this year, but in boxing history. You know, Antonio, the super middleweight division is relatively new. 1984 is when it started, and it used to be more of a stopping off point rather than a destination. Joe Calzaghe put it in our consciousness, but now this tournament has put it on the map, and with it, all these fighters.
Yes, the Super 6 have given these fighters an unbelievable opportunity to be visible, not only nationally, but internationally. And the competition to go fight after fight and withstand all the pressure that comes with that, and find Carl Froch and Andre Ward right here, one fight away from winning the Super 6 Classic, and whom I believe should be a runaway with Fighter of the Year.
Yeah, I agree with you. It should be a great night. Let's go back to you, guys.
All right, thank you very much, Al. Tonight is a special night of combat sports on Showtime. Not only are we going to crown a champion in the Super 6 tournament, but immediately following Ward versus Froch, we'll head to San Diego, California for the second half of our doubleheader featuring a pair of Strikeforce title fights. And joining us now from San Diego, the man who will be calling those fights, Mauro Ranallo. And Mo, who do you think has been the more dominant champion, Melendez or Mrs. Cyborg?
Well, Gus, that is a tough question, and I don't want to come across sounding like a politician, but it really is impossible for me to choose. I mean, a case can be made for both of them. Melendez has been ensconced in the lightweight top 10 for many years based on his well-rounded attack, and he showed what he's capable of doing now that elbows are allowed in Strikeforce in his last title defense, using what I christened as hellbows. Meanwhile, Cyborg has destroyed everything in her path since signing with Strikeforce, finishing each of her opponents with her razor-sharp striking, including the beatdown of the year in her last outing in 2010. In their respective divisions, both El Nino and Cyborg are at the top of the food chain, and while I am very excited to be calling those two title fights tonight, Gus, we are all eagerly anticipating the outcome of the Super 6 final between Andre Ward and Carl Froch. Have a great show, my friend.
My buddy. All right, we'll look forward to those fights coming up later tonight, right after the Super 6 final here from AC. Since the start of the Super 6, Andre Ward has not only won a world title, but he's also earned a spot in the pound-for-pound top 10. He began the tournament as an outsider, and tonight he's the favorite to win it all, 3-1. England's Carl Froch had the bumpiest ride in the tournament. He's fought on the road, he's lost and regained a world title, and he's faced the toughest competition of anyone in the draw. Tonight, Froch faces his greatest challenge yet. And that takes us to our Facebook poll question for tonight. Who will win the Super 6 final? Log on to facebook.com/showboxing to cast your vote now, and we'll give you the results later in our telecast. Now let's go to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey, we welcome you as we are counting down to the final of the Super 6 World Boxing Classic, which tests Ward versus Froch, WBA versus WBC, boxer versus puncher, and USA versus England. Yet despite their differences, our rivals share a common tie in their quest to be the best.
I'll be waiting for you.
Already. Bye. My aunt. And we're getting ready to go meet her at the cemetery now. I was about 16, 17 when my father passed. I don't think I fully accepted that, especially as this is something that we dreamed about. My dad boxed at Crestmore High School in San Bruno. My dad got me into boxing by just telling me, you know, stories about his rivals, and I just started getting excited, man. Like, man, Dad, I want to try this out. We went to the gym. I'd hit the bag, then I'd look to the side, and Virgil, he'd give me a nod of approval.
I remember saying to myself, "Little fella there, you got some pop, you know?"
At the end of the workout here, my father just started talking.
My predictions when he might have been 11 or 10 years old that he was going to win a gold medal, and he would be one of the great boxing champions.
We have great chemistry. He is someone I will call a father figure. I'm happy to see you guys. My family's everything to me. They constantly remind me why I'm doing what I'm doing. They're a great part of my diet. I need them.
He's been boxing since he was 9 years old. We've been together since we were 16, and it's just been years and years of staying focused, and our dreams are coming true. He's stepping into his destiny.
The work that I do now is just building on what was laid over 10 years ago.
He would have been out of his mind with joy and just so pissed. I mean, he was always proud of Andre.
My dad would be so excited right now. I believe he's watching everything, man. I really do.
Carl is so dedicated to the sport. He lives, breathes boxing.
My dad used to box as an amateur, and he still had a bag hanging in his garage, and I used to sort of hit that as a kid.
Just to watch him hitting that bag, he loved it.
I enjoyed the fitness, and I enjoyed sparring. When I was about 9, I was beating everybody up. I thought, you know what, I can probably do something with this sport.
I love the crowd and the family going together. It's a big thrill.
My mum, she's always there for me. I think I'd be upset if my mum didn't turn up. I really would.
I'm always worried about him getting hurt. As Carl always says, I've got to worry about the opponent.
Come on, Carl! Win this fucking belt!
I can't really hear Rachel. I know half of Finland heard her. But, you know, her partner's in the ring, the father of her son. So she's passionate. Fatherhood's great. I can't imagine what it was like without a rocker. I really can't.
That little boy is Carl growing up all over again.
He's a really good father, really hands-on.
It's not changed my boxing at all. People have asked me that before, but I fight because I fight and I enjoy it. And now I'm looking at beating Ward, beating him up.
Andre Ward and Carl Froch certainly offer contrasts in background and personality, and those contrasts apply to their better halves as well. There's nothing low-key about Rachel Cordingley, who's been so vocal during Carl Froch's fights that at times she's become an unintended member of our broadcast team. Rachel never misses a fight, and her presence tonight will be hard to miss. It's very different for Tiffany Ward, who's been content to allow her husband to be the focus of the cameras and microphones. While less vocal than her British counterpart, she still provides unwavering support for her longtime sweetheart and husband, Andre Ward. Time once again for our Facebook poll question: who will win the Super 6 final? Log on to facebook.com/showboxing to cast your vote. Back with the champ, Antonio Tarver, and because this tournament has been so demanding, it's been like a truth machine for both of these fighters.
It has. And, you know, when you look at the competition, you have to give both of these champions credit. And also, we all know on face value, these fighters are so much different. But what I've learned through both of these fighters is that there are similarities. I mean, both of their fathers encouraged and motivated them to pick up boxing. And also, they have long amateur backgrounds, and it's their faith. Whether it's God or you believe in yourself, it's their faith that these two fighters, these two warriors, believe that it's their destiny to become the Super 6 champion.
Very well said. Now let's go back to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Well, fans, our main event is just around the corner. And now we take a look at the journey that has led Carl Froch and Andre Ward to the Super 6 final. It's the finals of the Super 6 World Boxing Classic.
You realise you got no chance, don't you? You do realise you got no chance.
You're not taking the BC, though.
Let's go.
He practicing with Michael Jackson.
I think he was very nervous and unsure of himself, and I was getting inside his head.
Froch trying to make Jarrell fight.
He sort of behaved like he didn't want to be in there, you know, like a thief in the night, trying to steal a man's title off. So I can just remember the fight being a frustrating night's work. But the right man on the night won.
My first fight, I looked at it like Kessler doesn't see a way that he can lose. And that's why he came to Oakland.
Man we thought was the supreme European is having the most trouble.
We felt like inside fighting and bringing the fight to Kessler was the key to victory.
Is the new WBA!
Hearing the scorecard and new WBA super middleweight champion is something that, you know, every young fighter dreams of.
So I get a text message, flight cancelled, volcanic ash cloud. I thought, this fight could be off here. And the Wednesday, they're sending a private jet, fight's on, and I was shocked. I sat in a hot bath the night before the weigh-in, which I've never done, just to take off a final couple of pounds. I knew from round 3, round 4, I felt physically tired, and I could see Kessler tiring, and usually I'm able to step up the gears, but with Kessler I couldn't do that. I was gutted I lost my world title. I was gutted. I can put it down to why I lost, but I made sure that against Abraham, I put all that correct. One. Emotionally, I felt really, really fired up, and that brought out the best in me. At the time, people were thinking I'm a one-dimensional fighter, but I saw the skill level, and it was a flawless victory. Are you okay? Yeah. You too? Yeah, I'm good. How'd you like?
He said, you're a bully. I said, I'm gonna fuck you up real bad.
He said, you know, Alan, you're gonna have to bring it tonight, man, if you want this belt. And we fought a lot of the fight with his back to the ropes, head-to-head, going to work. You hear a guy grunt if you hit him in the right spot. Something in you says, oh, I got him. He didn't like that. But I'm still learning to become as a great finisher, to get the victory in spectacular fashion.
Arthur, your promoter's lost confidence in you.
Our team will get guys riled up and they say, okay, I got them fired up. Now get ready to fight. First 3 rounds, it could have went either way, but it's a 12-round fight.
Abraham is taking a pounding here.
So we just stay focused and implement the game plan.
The Superman.
I took the fight quite lightly, and I think it showed, because the first 3 or 4 rounds, these rounds are close.
Froch now starting to move a little bit.
To make sure I won the rounds, every time I got hit with a shot, make sure I answer back with 3 or 4 punch combination. But the old me would have stepped in when I could see he's tiring, put the grandstand finish on. But the new me realises that a win's sometimes good enough. Now to be in the Super 6 final, it's the stuff dreams are made of.
I want to finish what I started. I really want that trophy.
It means everything to me at the minute, the Super 6.
Back with the International Hall of Famer Al Bernstein. I like saying that.
Oh, thank you.
That's a great title for you, sir.
I appreciate it.
You know, Al, as we look at this championship fight, it is going to be a career-defining moment for the winner, but also could shape the future of the division.
Yeah, you're right, Gus. You know, sometimes in boxing we're guilty of not savoring the moment and maybe looking ahead. Well, certainly tonight we're excited about crowning a champion in the Super 6 and concluding this tournament. But this is more of a beginning than an end for the 168-pound division. There are so many stories that will be told in this division in the coming months. And as luck would have it, we've got a couple of the people here who will help shape those stories. First of all, Lucien Boutet, the unbeaten IBF titleist, who's been very outspoken about his desire to fight the winner of tonight's bout. And a young man, Anthony Durrell, whose brother Andre, of course, was one of the original Super 6 participants. He's now the mandatory challenger of the WBC, which puts him in line to fight the winner of Ward Froch. Also, tonight we expect Bernard Hopkins and Mikkel Kessler to be on hand. So, we have a lot of great fighters in the 168-pound division. Let's send things back to Gus.
All right, coming up after the Super 6 final, we head immediately to San Diego for 2 Strikeforce title fights, Melendez versus Masvidal and Cyborg versus Yamanaka. This Wednesday, December 21st at 9 p.m., it's the latest episode of Inside the NFL with hosts James Brown, Chris Collinsworth, Phil Simms, and Warren Sapp. Followed at 10 p.m. by the premiere of A Game of Honor, Showtime's in-depth look at the history of the Army-Navy football rivalry. Friday, December 30th at 11 p.m., Showbox The New Generation is back with the return to the ring of 2 past Super 6 competitors. Jermaine Taylor fights Jesse Nicklow, and Andre Durrell takes on Daryl Cunningham. Saturday, January 7th at 10 p.m. as part of Showtime's free preview weekend. It's another Strikeforce showcase headlined by the middleweight title fight between Luke Rockhold and Keith Jardine. Plus, at 8 p.m., you can watch all the preliminary action on Show Extreme. Then Saturday, February 11th at 10 p.m., Showtime Championship Boxing starts 2012 with a bang. The highly anticipated rematch between Victor Ortiz and Andre Berto. Both men are standing by with our very own Jim Gray.
All right, Gus, thank you very much. Well, it was quite a battle back on April 16th at Foxwoods. As we take a look at a couple of these highlights from that fight, it was a brawl. In fact, a candidate for the fight of the year. Berto went down in the first round. An onslaught by Ortiz. Then Ortiz, he went down in the second round. Unbelievable. Both men hit the canvas in the 6th round. But in the end, Victor Ortiz won a unanimous decision. And as I said, it was a great fight, and we'll have the second one February the 11th right here on Showtime. First, let's turn to you. What are you going to have to do differently in this fight, and what did you learn from the first fight?
You know, I just have to just come in there and just implement my game. You know, I don't believe in, I did it the first time around. I'm going to come in extremely focused. I'm coming in shape. I'm coming there and do what I know how to do. And I got the speed and I got the power to hurt him. And, this time if I get him hurt, I'm going to make sure to try to finish him. But, I'm looking forward, to a good fight. I'm looking forward to an entertaining fight. So, like I said, I won the title coming back. and I gave it up just so we can make this fight happen. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know it's a great fight for the fans, and it's going to be good.
Andre, you're from Haiti, and of course, this fight was just a few months after that terrible tragedy that you and your family suffered in Haiti. How much did that distract you, and how much of an effect was it for you on that fight?
They're still going through problems there, of course, so I'm always, trying to go back and forth, trying to make sure things are okay. But fight night, I just wasn't myself, but at the same time, I'm not taking anything away from Victor Ortiz. He came in there, focused and ready to handle business. And I believe that, everything happens for a reason. And I believe that fight happened, for a reason. They got me back to where I want to be. I'm extremely focused, and I can't wait to get back in there.
All right, let's turn to Victor. Victor, you won that first fight. How difficult is it going to be for you to beat this man a second time?
I know he's in there for war. He's a good fighter, Otherwise, obviously wouldn't have fought him in the first place, He was rated amongst one of the best. And as far as that goes, all I know is I'll be ready for war once again, and I'm sure he will too. But in the end, I won't stand for anything shorter than a W, So I'm good. I'm ready.
Victor, do you feel as though you might have something to prove in this fight, that one wasn't a fluke, and then also coming off the debacle against Mayweather?
I have a lot to prove in this sport, not only to people, but to myself. The first fight against Andre, it was a good fight, not going to lie, but I wasn't content. Got to the locker room, and I told my coaches, hey, man, it was good, but it was only enough to beat Berto tonight. Berto's a good fighter. I'll applaud him for that, but I know I'm much better. So at the end of the day, I wasn't happy. I went to the drawing board. I've been working pretty hard, and, Mayweather is Mayweather, That's in the past.
All right, well, these guys, you'll see them on February the 11th. And fans, you have the opportunity. Tweet them tonight during the telecast, and they will talk to you and respond during this fight about Ward and Froch. Who do you like tonight?
I like Ward tonight. Yeah, I've known Ward ever since, we're 12, 13 years old. Grew up in the amateur program together. He's extremely focused. He knows how to win at the end of the day. He's smart. He's real smart and intelligent in there in the ring. I've seen him, undergo tremendous pressure and still come out victorious. And I think it's going to be another inside of that tonight.
All right, Andre, thank you. Who do you like, Victor, tonight?
I'm good friends with Andre Ward, and we went to the Olympic trials together and stuff. So I'm definitely pulling for my buddy, but at the same time, it's like I've never seen the other guy fight, so it should be a good fight tonight. And may the best man win, But as far as I'm concerned, I'm just here enjoying the night.
All right, thank you, guys. We'll see you on February 11th. Gus, back to you.
Thank you, Jim. And for more on Ortiz Berto 2, plus all Showtime sports events and telecasts, log on to our website, sports.show.com. Also, you can fan us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for real-time news and information. The time has come. Andre Ward and Carl Froch have thrived and survived in the toughest tournament boxing has ever seen. And as a result, they're about to fight for the championship trophy in the Super 6 World Boxing Classic, 2 world titles, and the well-earned designation as the #1 fighter in the super middleweight division. Which fighter will step up one more time? And with that in mind, here are the results of our Facebook poll in which we asked who will win the Super 6 final. 75% saying that Andre Ward will be victorious by the time this evening has come to an end. Back with my partners. Al, turning to you first. Andre Ward, heavy favorite here in the States.
Yeah, obviously that's a United States-based audience, and he is a favorite here in the United States. However, Carl Froch is a 3-1 betting favorite in England, and whatever numbers say, I got to be honest with you, to me, this is a dead even pick-em fight, and I have no idea who's going to win. It's going to be fun watching to see who does. 2 determined fighters entering the ring tonight. Carl Froch, he has no problems fighting as an underdog. He's had the toughest road to get to this final.
You know what? I think it prepared him for tonight. I think both of these guys will be in the toughest fight of their life. And I think when you look at Andre Ward's trip and road to the Super 6, I don't know if it quite prepared him for the fight that he'll be in tonight. Froch is a seasoned veteran. He's been through it all. And he's used to this in somebody's backyard, upsetting the favorite. So we're going to have to see. I'm excited. I can see both of these fighters winning. That's what makes it interesting.
And for Andre Ward, this is the first time he's fought outside of the state of California in this tournament. Once again, let's send it back to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Well, fans, we are moments away from our featured attraction. Andre Ward, undefeated in tournament action, undefeated in his professional career, and the current WBA super middleweight champion, and Carl Froch, 3-1 in this tournament, and after regaining his title, he is now the two-time WBC super middleweight champion. And now, the final words from our combatants.
Metaphorically speaking, if I could cut my opponent's throat during that fight, I would do, because that's how much it means to me.
I feel like the same hungry kid who got in this tournament 2 years ago. I want to hear Super 6 champion Andre Ward.
You see nothing in these eyes that tell you I don't think I can win it, because I know I can beat Ward, no problem.
This fight is career defining.
And I'm looking at trying to render my opponent unconscious.
I can't lose.
I'm in there to win.
This is my time.
Fighting for all the marbles.
And now entering the ring from Nottingham, England, here is the WBC super middleweight champion of the world. Here he is, Carl Froch.
Carl Froch from Nottingham, England, which is the home of Robin Hood. And he has been a hero not only in England, but a developing one in the United States. And he brings plenty of fans across the pond to support him this evening.
Yeah, Gus, you see that stoic look on Carl Froch's face. This is a guy that has really surpassed anyone's expectation of him. He's not afraid to go across the pond, come to someone's backyard, and do the major unthinkable, and that's upset and shock the world. He's here for business, and he feels that Amir Khan got a bad rap in his last fight against Peterson. He feels that he has to knock Ward out in order to secure victory tonight.
Yeah, and he thinks he can hurt Andre Ward, but Ward can't hurt him. Just in case he doesn't get that knockout, and he hasn't had one for over 2 years, he could rely on being busy because he has, in his Super 6 fights, he has thrown 1,400 more punches than his opponents.
And Al, Carl Froch has had the toughest road to get to this Super 6 final.
Yes, many of those fights on the road, of course, a fight at home against Durrell, then the close loss to Kessler, and then those 2 big wins over Abraham and Johnson, again, away from home.
His girlfriend and mother of his 2-year-old son, Rocco, Rachel Cordingley. Carl Froch telling us he's in the best shape of his life, and he will prove it by dominating Andre Ward this evening.
And now, from Oakland, California in the United States, here is the WBA super middleweight champion of the world. Presenting Andre Ward.
Andre Ward, he told us in our production meeting yesterday, even dating back to his time as an amateur, he's always been doubted by his opponents. But when he gets in the ring, they see a totally different man and feel his spirit.
Yeah, you know, he lives the lifestyle of a Christian man. He's a family man, and it's not a gimmick. It's really his life. But when he steps in the ring, something else comes out of him. This is a vicious warrior, and he's proven time and time again that he can do whatever it takes to win a fight.
And he uses the fact that some people doubt that as motivation. And you know, there's one salient fact about Andre Ward. It's been repeated, but I'll repeat it again. It's important. Has not lost a fight since he was 12 years old.
So that means there's no blueprint, Adam. How can you beat a guy that there's no blueprint to defeat him?
And a slight little brush in the ring as the two fighters walk around. Carl Froch continuing to try to get inside Andre Ward's head. As Jim Gray told us, he questions Ward's mind, not his heart. And for Andre Ward, his road to the Super 6 final, a little bit easier home base.
Yeah, it's certainly different now. He did beat the tournament favorite, Mikkel Kessler, in his first fight, but then staying in California, beat Alan Green, had a forfeit, a walkover against Andre Drell, and then dominated Arthur Abraham. So a big win in that first fight, but yes, there were certain elements that made it easier for him.
A very relaxed Ward family. His wife Tiffany, sons Andre Jr., Malachi, daughter Amira, mom Madeline in attendance as well. And that brings us to the tail of the tape. Andre Ward, Carl Froch, 12 rounds of boxing for the Super 6 World Boxing Classic title, as well as a WBA and WBC Super Middleweight titles.
A couple of important numbers there. Froch, of course, is the older fighter, and even talked to us about the fact he's conscious of doing certain training that keeps him a young 34. The reach is very important because he will want to use his jab and keep Ward on the end of it, so those 4 inches in reach, very important.
And the rules for tonight's fight.
There is no standing 8, no 3 knockdown, only the ref can stop the fight. Can't be saved by the bell in any round. Now, the next one's very important because Andre Ward has, from time to time, had clashes of heads that have hurt his opponent. If there is a clash of heads and there's a cut, after 4 rounds, they would go to the scorecards. Before that, it would be a no decision.
2.5 years in the making, folks. The Super 6 World Boxing Classic final, and we're ready for action. For the formal introductions, let's go to the classy Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you and welcome to Boardwalk Hall here in Atlantic City, New Jersey for the much anticipated featured bout of the evening as Goose and Tudor Promotions, Antonio Leonard Productions, and Matchroom Sport in association with Caesars Atlantic City and Showtime, sponsored by Corona and Azad Watches, present the Super 6 World Boxing Classic Final. This unification championship is sanctioned by the WBC President Jose Suleiman, Supervisor Bob Yalen, the WBA President Gilberto Mendoza, Supervisor Guy Jutras, and the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board. The chairman is Tony Orlando, Commissioner Aaron Davis. Our physicians at ringside, Dr. Blair Bergen, Dr. Mark Shaber, Dr. Eric Wormser, and Dr. Dominic Coletta. Timekeeper at the bell tonight, Arthur Spell. Introducing to you our 3 judges scoring from ringside. From England, John Keane. From Canada, Craig Metcalf. And from the United States, John Stewart. And our third man to the ring, the referee in charge, will be giving instructions after the introductions, Steve Smoger. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of action scheduled for the Super 6 World Boxing Classic Final and the unified WBA and WBC Super Middleweight Championship of the World. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Atlantic City, New Jersey, it's showtime! Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red, white, and blue trunks, hailing from and proudly representing the Bay Area and Oakland, California. He weighed in at the super middleweight limit of 168 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign with a record of 24 wins, no losses, with 13 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome one of the young stars of boxing, the U.S. Olympic gold medalist and the current undefeated WBA super middleweight champion of the world, introducing Andre S.O.G. Ward. And And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with silver trim, known as Boxing's Pride of Nottingham, England. He weighed in at a ready 167 1/2 pounds with a record of 28 wins, 1 loss. He has 20 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome England's finest, the longtime British and Commonwealth champion, the reigning and defending 2-time WBC super middleweight champion of the world, introducing Carl the Cobra Froch.
Switch on. Okay, you ready? You want to drink?
And once again, a referee in charge now to give instructions, Steve Smoger.
All right, gentlemen, you were given your instructions in your individual dressing rooms. Please obey my commands, respect the bell, and above all, protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves. God bless you both.
12 rounds for the Super 6 World Boxing Classic Championship and WBA and WBC titles. Carl Froch wants to use his length, work everything off of the jab, and it'll set up his power. The Cobra. Andre Ward told us he wants to get inside. He doesn't feel that Froch can defend inside. He wants to be more like a mongoose. Ricky, Tiki, Tabby.
Shades of Archie Moore. Carl Froch said, I want to get off to a very quick start and make Andre Ward have some doubt. Let's see if he can do it.
Froch has worked tirelessly with Robert McCracken, his trainer, on cutting off the ring.
Punch out. Try to get out yourself. Let him out, Andre. Let him out.
Steve Smoger, the third man in the ring, lets you fight on the inside, and there was a graphic example right there. And Ward landed a good left hook on the after they got away from that clinch.
169 championship bouts for Steve Smoger.
He's a great referee.
Right now, it just seems like both fighters are filling each other out. You know, before the judges brought them together, you can feel the tension.
Yeah.
You know, it was so thick. That means they understand what's at stake.
Touch it, punch out. Good.
The jabs, of course, for both men, so important. And there's Ward's. They need to establish that early. To me, Carl Froch looks just a little tight here in round 1.
Carl Froch, the much more talkative fighter during the pre-fight hype, which has gone all over the world, London, Oakland, California, New York City. Froch questioning Ward's convictions, his mind. Ward, quiet, confident, but has become irritated over the last week or so. The Olympic gold medalist in 2004. Nice jab by Carl Froch on the button.
There's the inside where Ward wants to fight, and both men landed a couple of good body shots.
.39 seconds remaining in the first round. Andre Ward jabbing to the chest. Feeling out process in this first round, but the jab very effective for Ward, and he has the shorter reach. A 71-inch reach for Andre Ward, 75 for Carl Froch, blinking his eyes. That jab may have landed more times than we see. And now Froch with some redness on the bridge of the nose as we end the first round. And what are the keys to this fight, Al?
For Carl Froch, we talked about the jab. It's the staple of his attack, and it's a power punch sometimes and helps him move forward. It also sets up a very good right hand, which he missed a lot in the first round. Now, he scored a KO with uppercuts before this tournament, but hasn't used that punch much during the tournament. We could see it emerge tonight. For Andre Ward, he wants to get inside in this fight. He needs to be aware of Froch's counterpunches when he comes in. He's got to dictate the pace. He does not want the busyness of Froch to take over. And his own jab is important, and in round one, he landed twice the amount of jabs as Froch, so Ward got the jab going.
Well, that first round was definitely a fill-out round for both fighters. I gave that one to Andre Ward. It looked like he was a little bit more successful with his jab. But this fight is definitely going to loosen up a little bit. Both fighters going to let their hands go.
Andre Ward defeating Mikkel Kessler for his first championship, winning the WBA super middleweight title. Then Alan Green roughing up Green. Andre Durrell withdrew. So in the meantime, Ward fought a tough Saki Obika. Very rugged and physical fight. And in his last fight, he defeated Arthur Abraham with a unanimous decision.
Now, right there, this is where Andre Ward's people believe that he have an advantage over Carl Froch. But it looks like both of them are doing really good work inside, Al.
Yeah, and then I agree with you. And Ward landed a nice left hook on the inside right at the end of that exchange.
Double jab by Ward. He finishes with a short left hook.
Another point to remember, Carl Froch has been a slow starter in some of his fights, so that quick start he wanted to get off to might have been a little bit of a pipe dream, and it didn't really happen so far in this fight, even though it's pretty close.
Started slowly against Jermaine Taylor. Yep. Got knocked down for the first and only time in his career, came back and scored a victory as he knocked out Jermaine Taylor.
Andre Ward's not moving, he's not running, he's fighting. Not that he runs normally, but he's a movement fighter. Nice uppercut by Froch.
That was a good long left jab by Froch as well.
Antonio, you were right. This fight's starting to percolate, and I think it's going to be an action affair.
Andre Ward also feeling very disrespected yesterday during the press conference when the Froch fans started cheering SOB instead of SOG.
Creative Brits. They were excited at that at that weigh-in. You know, this fight is being fought. Oh, nice hook by Ward. It's being fought right in, right in the trenches. Nobody's moving that much, and both men are there to land punches.
Quick reflexes by Andre Ward. Carl Froch, Antonio, looks to have the slower hands, much slower.
Yeah, most definitely. I didn't think he would be the fastest fighter coming in, and I thought with them both being right here in the center of the ring, that would give an advantage to Carl Froch. But it seems like, again, Andre Ward is figuring out the puzzle.
Ward going behind the elbow with the right hand to the body. Now Froch, he gets hit with a left hook, and that'll back up Carl Froch.
And he had just landed 2 good body shots before that.
Andre Ward punching in the middle of a punch.
And that's what you want to do. You make your opponent think that he's out of reach, and then you clobber him with a good shot.
Another good left hook by Andre Ward. And Carl Froch goes back to his corner, and he may be the fighter thinking right now.
Sit down and relax. Sit down. Yeah, you put that, sit down. Listen, this fella's just sitting back and he's just trying to kick you off, all right? You've got to go twice with him. You've got to go 1-2 up to get there with a double jab right hand, and then as soon as there, you've got to react. But if you go wide, he'll just come back with a hook. If you sit in front of him, he'll just pick you off with a jab. You've got to double up on your work, all right?
We wondered who would win the battle of the jabs early on. It has been Andre Ward. He's landed more than twice as many as Carl Froch. And there's the double jab, and coming with the left hook right after it, Antonio.
Yeah, and that's what I was pointing out earlier. It seems as if Carl Froch just let his guards down, and he relaxes, and that's when Andre Ward attacks.
And that inside action, good body work by Froch, and then Ward pushed him back.
Third round scheduled for 12. The Super 6 World Boxing Classic Championship and WBA and WBC Super Middleweight title on the line. Carl Froch from Nottingham, England. 3-1 in this tournament in the black trunks. Andre Ward undefeated in this tournament in the white and blue.
And I'm thinking that Carl Froch has to know that he's behind 2 rounds, or at least, you know, he's going to have to do more work. And this is not a type of fighter that you want to fall behind in rounds. This guy hasn't lost 2 or 3 rounds in the whole tournament.
He's won 88%, Ward has, on the judges' scorecard of his rounds in the Super 6.
Froch with his hands down. And Andre Ward has been pinpoint accurate with that jab, doubling it up again. Now goes downstairs.
Froch talked a lot about being able to cut off the ring. That has not been an issue for him because Andre Ward's been right in front of him.
Al, and it looks like Froch is a bit confused in there about how to come forward on Andre Ward. As you look at the total punches.
Well, now normally Froch throws 15 punches more per round than his opponent. He still is ahead of Ward in numbers thrown, but not by a huge margin.
Andre Ward very relaxed. What is he setting up when he keeps jabbing to the solar plexus like that, Antonio?
Well, most definitely trying to set up the right-hand counter like he just shot the one in there when Froch was unexpecting it.
Left hook, double left hook, landing for Andre Ward. And he backs it up with another stiff jab.
Carl Froch just dug a nice right hand into the solar plex. I think Carl Froch right now mentally is saying, just hit anything, just hit matter. Stop trying to go for the targets, just hit body.
Yeah, you're right, and he has concentrated on the body. And I think the headline in this fight is how effective Ward's left hook has been. It's been a great punch. Getting that body work by Froch.
Straight right hand to the body landing for Carl Froch. Froch working the free hand. Left hook, missing by Ward. Now they're fighting in the phone booth. Nice jab by Ward. Backs up Froch.
Both fighters then landed some good counter punches. And inside, there's really...
Ooh, nice left hook. Digging deep for Andre Ward. Froch answers.
It seems like there's no advantage inside. That, you know, it's a standoff, a stalemate.
End of the third.
You've got to be busier, but you've got to remember shots coming back at you down the middle. You've got to throw 3s and 4s with this kid, and when you're there, you've got to react, all right? You've got to stop with a slow jab because you give him a couple of counters because you're putting out a slow jab. Relax a little bit, okay? Breathe, relax, all right? Okay. Turn your head movement now. Let the 3s and 4s go, and then close the gap. If he's out of range, just cut across him. Don't throw a punch when he's out of range, okay?
Double up your jab more in the chest now as you feint him, okay? Keep feinting, doubling up in that jab in the chest so you can bring your right hand out. Commit to the combination roll, okay? On the inside, don't go high a little bit. Drop in and drop down. Expect him to try to do something. Wait till he free himself. Be in position. And bang, bang, bang. The accurate shots, okay? The short.
Virgil Hunter has been with Andre Ward since he was 9 years old when his father brought him into the gym. What a relationship. As we begin the 4th round, Carl Froch in black, Andre Ward in white, scheduled for 12. Uppercut getting through for Ward. Ward's hands up very high. Tight defense. And what Andre Ward told us was that Froch can punch inside, but he can't defend inside, and that's what he will attack.
You know, Froch just tried that uppercut from way back. And he points out, and it's true, it's a dangerous punch from too far out, especially considering Ward is landing those left hooks.
Vander Holyfield knocked out Buster Douglas.
Sure did. Very good example. You, sir, are a boxing historian.
And you, sir, are a Hall of Famer.
In past fights I've seen, that was a good shot. In past fights I've seen Carl Froch a little bit more fluid than this. It seems like, you know, he put on a lot more muscle, and it just seems like he's a little bit methodical in there, and he can't really let those combinations go.
Tight. He looks
real tight.
Yeah. And Ward has been looser, and I'll tell you, maybe he's surprised that Ward has stood right in front of him and battled him.
Yeah. Big right hand by Andre Ward, landing more punches and heavier punches.
Andre Ward is showing us the whole package. We've seen every punch he can throw, even including the uppercut. Not his staple, but he's landed it very well.
Looping right hand by Ward. Al, Ward is punching. Oh, double right hand.
That margin of only 12 punches of difference in the jabs and the big number landed by Ward shows who's winning that battle. And that's really important. And that, I think, is a key stat because it's taking Froch out of his fight.
Now Ward pinning him on the ropes. Here's the inside fighting that he really polished up on Alan Green as well as Bika.
And Steve Smoger not breaking them. He lets fighters fight on the inside.
Let's see if Froch can defend. Body shot by Ward.
Yeah, this is where you see the little slickness about Froch. You know, it's not a real dominant situation for Andre Ward. It's a battle right now inside.
And now Froch looking at Smoger, and Smoger is not helping him. Ward, left hook, rolls. Froch answering. This is what you want to see in a championship bout.
And this is the type of fight Froch needs in order to have those opportunities to land those big counter shots.
And this is the kind of fight that Ward said that he will win.
Well, and the problem is, though, Froch is throwing a lot of wide punches. He's going to have to straighten them out and be more precise.
Left hook, uppercut, left hand. Andre Ward ends with a clean combination and heads back to his corner.
That's all right. You keep focused and keep that in. I'll let Steve know. Okay? You just stay focused. When you do your work, put your short shots in and keep everything tight. Keep fighting as you work your way in. Just don't walk in, okay? Good job. It's a round five, my water. Round five.
Andre Ward getting Carl Froch against the ropes. As Antonio pointed out, sometimes you have to be really careful to watch what's actually happening here. But Ward does like the idea that he's pushing Froch back. Not a lot of clean punches landing. And Carl Froch looking to Steve Smoger saying, you want to break this up, don't you? There's that hook by Ward. It's the surprise punch of the night in some respects, and an uppercut. So, and you see Ward throwing those combinations. That's a slapping left hook from Froch. To me, that shows how he's punching in this fight.
Yep.
Fifth round, scheduled for 12. For the Super 6 World Boxing Classic Championship and the WBA and WBC Super Middleweight titles.
Oh, he hurt Froch with that left hook.
Ward, accurate punching, right hand, left hook. Now he's starting to push Froch backwards.
And this is the type of toughness that all of his opponents seem to underestimate that Andre Ward has. I mean, right now, he's letting that beast go.
Stepping over, delivering the left uppercut to the body, which was blocked by Froch. Andre Ward's team, Virgil Hunter told us they want to create a conflict of doubt when Froch goes back to his stool. Gentlemen, what does that mean?
That means he wants him confused. That means he wants him to get frustrated. He wants his corner to be confused about how to solve the puzzle of Andre Ward.
You know, Andre Ward pointed out that as young, even in his early amateur days, he's going to show up at a tournament and he was already top-ranked, highly ranked fighter, and guys would underestimate. He uses that as motivation. Our press row unofficial scoring, Mike Coppinger from The Ring, Bernard Fernandez from Philadelphia Daily News, Mark Shardrow from the BBC. Shardrow with it the closest. I have it the way Coppinger has it, 40-36.
I have it also a shutout, but you could have thought that Froch may have won the third round, but it was a very close round. I gave it to Ward.
I agree. And at this point, Ward has landed 104 punches to only 55 for Froch. So that indicates, even though Froch has thrown about 32 more. And for Froch to win, he should be busier than just landing 25 or 30 punches more.
Five punches by Froch, none of them connecting. And now, Ward showing a little Sugar Ray Leonard.
Wow, Kid Gavel, go back further. Did you see that ball
as he snuck it in?
Yeah, I think Froch needs to do more pressure, aggressive pressure, and he needs to back Ward up, put him in an uncomfortable situation. And right now, I mean, it's like a walk in the park right now. And that's big because Froch is a real champion, and it seems like he's getting dominated tonight so far.
But the speed, just too much for Carl Froch right now. Froch fighting Glenn Johnson in his last fight, winning a decision. Losing his title to Mikkel Kessler, winning it again against Arthur Abraham. He fought the quick Andre Durrell. Durrell did not put enough pressure on him, although he made Froch look very slow at times. Nice jab by Froch.
Andre Ward said, I want to come in here and win decisively. I'm not here to eke out a victory, and that's the way he's fighting right now.
Left hook connecting. Another left hook connecting for Andre Ward as he glares at Froch. As both men go back to their corner.
As soon as he sits back, listen to me. Listen, don't sit back looking at him, because every time you do, he just hits you with a jab, all right? Relax. And put your legs out. Listen. Every time you sit back, he hits you with a jab, all right? 1-2s, 1-2 hooks, and then you just...
Ward beginning this round very well, this past round very well, using that left as a rangefinder, and then there's the hook. It's delivered in a compact, concise manner, unlike the way Froch is delivering his left hooks, which have been mostly slapping. And this is the infighting, Antonio.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on here. No, neither fighter has a lot of room to work. Yeah, Ward started that round good, but I think Froch finished it well as well.
Carl Froch telling us that he's got more punching power. Yes, Ward is faster, but his movement will nullify Ward's speed. I will let big shots go from 1 through 12. This is the 6th round.
Carl Froch is landing 4 of 24 jabs per round. In his previous fights in the Super 6, he's averaged 9 of 41.
He's going to have to make some changes if he want to turn this fight around. I think it would be in his best interest that if just throw with Andre, you know, that kills speed and negates speed sometimes.
It's a really good point. And he's also exchanging left hooks with Ward and not winning the battle.
Ward jabbing to the body once again. He's gone downstairs, upstairs, upstairs, downstairs with the jab. And it's been very accurate. Misses with the uppercut.
Talk about opponents underestimating Ward. Mikkel Kessler picked Froch to win this fight, even though he beat Froch and lost to Ward. So that shows you that it's just very hard for Andre Ward sometimes to get credit. He's doing the job tonight, though.
Oh, double left hook again by Ward as he steps off. Andre Ward said he's watched a lot of Floyd Mayweather Jr. to prepare for this fight. Left hook connecting again. Mayweather's ability to remain composed in big-time situations.
Yeah, that was one of my keys to victory for him, to just remain composed. I thought that Froch would put him in some unfamiliar territory tonight, but it seems like that's not happening. And he has this fight, in my book, under control at this time.
And there's a nice right hand again by Froch. So he's gotten the right hand going. But can it hurt Andre Ward? So far it hasn't.
Steve Smoger doing an excellent job letting these two fighters work it out. Right hand, beautiful left hook, beautiful.
Carl Froch is having some
left hook by Ward. Froch back on his heels now.
But we know he has a granite chin. This man has been hit by some of the toughest and hardest super middleweights out there, and we haven't seen him fall yet.
Inside, Andre Ward shortening everything up. Rolling. Another countering left hook. Backs up Froch. And the Englishman doesn't look as confident now. Slow. Ward, lightning quick. Ward dominating.
Watch his counter when you throw. You can't throw and leave your feet behind. When he steps out of range, you've got to go in with 3 shots, 1 to up or 1 double jab right hand. You can't just throw 1 shot and keep your feet there because he'll counter you. Have a drink. Yeah, have a drink. Well, look, now, you've got to move your head and move your feet quicker. You can't sit in there. Listen, okay. Listen, you've got to shorten it up inside. You can't go big and wide because you just mix the odd eye-catching shot inside.
Keep on, you got it. Finish it. Tough, okay? Now, you got to start doubling up the jab for me, but don't reach for him, okay? That's going to keep him occupied, okay? Keep him busy and occupied. Just don't let him keep getting used to one little rhythm and stuff like that. Feint, keep him busy. On the ropes next time, shoot my southpaw. Shoot my southpaw.
Seventh round of a 12-round fight for the Super 6 World Boxing Classic Championship and the WBA and WBC Super Middleweight belts on the line as well. Andre Ward, the WBA champion. Carl Froch in black, the WBC champion. Left uppercut connecting. Now Froch fighting off the ropes. Ward just rolling and slipping.
Froch landed some of his best punches in the last round, a couple of strong right hands, but still lost the round, and he developed a little welt underneath the left eye of Ward.
Straight right hand getting in for Andre Ward.
You know, this fight is simply one thing. Speed kills. I mean, he cannot adjust to the speed of Andre Ward, and I mean, this man right now looks like he deserves to be on that top pound-for-pound list.
Straight right hand getting in again. Froch backing up, looking at his corner. It looks like a conflict of doubt has been created.
There's nothing more frustrating than a guy pot-shotting you and hitting you at will, and you cannot hit him back.
Lead left hook, uppercut, pivots and lands the right hand as well.
And when they spoke of breaking Carl Froch's will in the fighters meeting, I thought that would be the wrong strategy. But who's going to argue with a guy?
Even you can be wrong, Antonio. I'm shocked. I've never seen it. No, it's true, though. You wouldn't think. And, boy, they have done it so far. Now, Froch has landed some big right hands, and that's not to say he won't hurt Ward with one of them. So that fight has a long way to go. And neither man has had a knockout in over 2 years, so you almost anticipated going the distance.
As you take a look at press row scoring.
At the halfway mark, this unofficial scoring, and actually it's a little closer on the scorecards than I have it. Mark Charblow, of course, from the BBC in London, has it only 1 point, which I think is generous to Carl Froch.
Let's keep in mind, we've seen Froch with his back against the wall one too many times, and with that Jermaine Taylor knockout with 5 seconds left to go, who can forget that?
Yeah, all you have to say is Jermaine Taylor. He was behind on the scorecards in that fight and came back.
The referees, pardon me, the judges in this fight are from England, Canada, and the United States. 26 seconds remaining in the 7th round.
And in this round, Ward so far has outlanded him 22-8, and he's only thrown 1 less punch than Froch. Froch is supposed to be the busier fighter, always is, not so much tonight.
The executioner.
Bernard Hopkins, who of course is a light heavyweight, talking about moving down to 168. You know a little something about this guy.
Yeah, Bernard Hopkins, one of the most craftiest fighters to date, and maybe in even all of history, did the unthinkable and went over and won a light heavyweight title, the oldest person to ever capture a championship.
And even though he's coming off the strange situation with Dawson, still a marketable name and a good fighter. Now here is Froch landing on the inside, but look, he lands his left hook, but Ward's is much more compact. Big right hand by Froch. He just can't hurt Ward with that punch.
He hasn't found his timing yet, and it's kind of strange to be this deep in the fight and just still right now trying to find his timing.
And even when he lands the big right hands, they're just not having the impact he wants them to have. He thought he could hurt Ward, and Ward couldn't hurt him.
Andre Ward, Carl Froch meet in the center of the ring for the 8th round of the Super 6 World Boxing Classic Final. And also the WBA and WBC Super Middleweight belts on the line. Froch in black, Ward in white. Carl Froch from Nottingham, England. His record, 28-1. His only loss coming to Mikkel Kessler. Andre Ward, 24-0, 13 KOs. Olympic gold medalist in 2004.
Andre Ward has not switched to lefty once in this fight, which I think it's a good idea that he didn't.
I mean, why should he? I mean, he's doing everything that he's told us he would do. He's controlling the action. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
But I never thought that I'd see Carl Froch behind the 8-ball like this in a fight that means so much. I mean, he's going to need a big punch in order to change this thing around because he's running out of rounds.
Yeah, one of those big right hands is going to have to hurt Ward.
Oh, there's a big right hand that hurts Froch. Andre Ward pitching a shutout here.
Now, Andre Ward has never had a knockout after the 8th round, but he is controlling Carl Froch and stunning him on occasion. We'll see if that changes tonight.
Ward 4-0 in world championship fights. Now he gets on his toes. First time we've seen him move like this.
It just seemed like, again, I'll reiterate that Froch just seems a little tight and just can't find his accuracy tonight.
Looping right hand, connecting for Andre Ward.
To me, it looks like he's muscled up for this fight. He's just not sharp. And sometimes muscle tightens you up and you just can't be fluent with your combination punches.
I don't know, Antonio. To me, it looks like Andre Ward is the superior skilled fighter with much more speed and discipline and accuracy.
Yeah, no doubt. But I've just seen Froch look a lot better. And he just didn't come with his A game tonight.
Ward stepping over, landing the right hand. Now goes to the body. And the left hook up top end. Froch hitting him after the bell. Big Poppy. Another slugger in attendance this evening.
If he's normally you just hit him around the back of the head and left the back door, or just roll lower and get something going underneath, all right? You've got to react when you're inside because you're letting him lean on. All right, have a drink. Listen.
Andre Ward landing his own straight right hand. And the interesting thing to me is that when Carl Froch hit through this punch at the end of the round, here's the key point. It didn't even faze Andre Ward. And Steve Smoger walked around the ring saying that Froch didn't hear the bell. It was not going to take a point away, but that didn't hurt Andre Ward. And he was relaxed.
Yeah.
Ward with some swelling under his eye. Remember, this fight was postponed because Andre Ward suffered a cut over the right eye in training camp.
Certainly has not been an issue at this point.
And Andre Ward, the kind of fighter that if you hit him low, he will hit you low. If you hit him late, he will hit you late. If you elbow him, he will elbow you. So Carl Froch should expect it.
I think you covered most of the fouls there, Gus.
What they say, doing to others as you want them to do unto you.
He's a very spiritual man.
Certainly he knows scripture.
An eye for an eye.
Right.
some time.
And you see these numbers, they're dramatic. Doubling the numbers landed by Andre Ward. And Show Stats numbers showing us almost 50% landed by Ward. I've worked with these numbers many times over the years. You don't usually land close to 50% in a fight. That's extraordinary when you do.
So behind this much, Antonio, Carl Froch, does he have to start taking some chances at this point?
Well, I think he's taking some chances, but you know, Andre Ward is not just, he's not giving in to him. He's not being tricked by any of it. He's going to have to just, like I said, let his hands go and hope that he can land a bomb and maybe offset this fight.
And you know, he has landed some good straight right hands. Just they haven't hurt Andre Ward.
Ward staying close. This is what we saw against Allen Green. He kept his forehead on the chest. Now he moves his head. Nice punching by Froch, though. Froch backing up.
That's a little bit of a danger zone for Andre Ward. Some good sharp punches by Froch. Nice right hand.
That was a good counter right landed by Froch.
Good round for Carl Froch, the 9th.
His best round of the fight. He's only behind by 2 punches landed in this round.
Oh. Sneaky left hook again. Half hook, half uppercut for Andre Ward. But Carl Froch comes back and lands a jab. Froch starting to get more aggressive now as Ward changes to southpaw.
And he squared himself up right there when he was switching back, Andre Ward. That was a little dangerous. This is the first round in the fight. I would say Carl Froch won. Is this the glimmer of a comeback?
Carl Froch has been the kind of fighter that has figured out ways to win. This is toughest challenge. December 31st, it's the latest edition of Fight Camp 360. Inside the Super 6 as this episode takes you through Fight Week, the tournament final, and the closing interviews. Following Fight Camp, it's Showtime Sports, the best of 2011.
That's a show that I was privileged to do with Jimmy Lennon Jr. and Frank Shamrock. And we look back at MMA and boxing for the year. Carl Froch had himself a better round in the last one. Short left hooks, there's the uppercut, and we talked about that as a potential important punch for Carl Froch. Now in this case, it's Froch landing the shorter, more concise, compact punches and not Andre Ward.
And here's where Ward paid him back.
Steve Smoger moving in to break those 2 fighters, and you're right, Gus, that was a little bit of payback. You said that, he might do it.
And in a fight like this where you're ahead by several rounds, you don't want to do that because that gives the referee an opportunity to take a point because he may have thought it was intentional. You don't want to toe that line.
Very good point.
First round of the fight in which Froch landed more punches than Andre Ward, 19-14.
Left hook by Ward, blocked that time by Carl Froch.
Froch has had 2 stoppages in the 11th round, so he's still in a territory where he's done it. But as we pointed out, in the Super 6, he has not had a knockout. Last knockout came against Jermaine Taylor.
Froch has gone 12 rounds, 8 times. He's 7-1. The lone loss, the only one on his record, to Mikkel Kessler in Denmark.
Power punches landed in the last round, a demonstration of what we saw, what we talked about, a comeback by Froch.
Carl Froch is going to have to back Andre Ward up, make him fight off his back foot, and push him, corner him into those ropes and get some good work in. I mean, you cannot beat a boxer, a seasoned boxer like that in the middle of the ring. It's just going to be difficult for him to do.
And I think it is safe to say, at least in our unofficial view, that at least a knockdown or 2 would be required by Froch for him to win this decision now. That's our opinion. I think it's our opinion.
We're 1 round away from the championship rounds. I agree with Al. He's way behind in this fight.
Yeah, tell me what I think, Anthony.
Nice jab again by Andre Ward.
A fairly close round here. But Froch needs more than that at this juncture in the fight.
That was a good body shot by Carl.
And Ward fighting more tactically now, showing him a different look, a little bit more movement.
Ooh, lead left hook connects. Hook and pivot. A la Floyd Mayweather Jr. knocking out Ricky Hatton.
You're full of these historical goodies tonight, aren't you?
I like this sport.
Get off the ropes, Cecil.
Ooh, shoe shine inside by Ward.
Step, step, step.
And Ward is fine with this pace at this point in the fight. This is okay for him because he needs to get through these last couple rounds.
Another left hand on the top of the head of Carl Froch by Andre Ward, and that's the end of the round. Now, ShowBox, a new generation, ends 2011 with a triple header. Friday, December 30th at 11 p.m., Jermaine Taylor returns to the ring against Jesse Nicklo. Andre Durrell is back against Daryl Cunningham, and in an opening bout of undefeated lightweight prospects, Luis Garcia fights Alexander Johnson. Then the Showtime Championship Boxing opens up 2012 with a bang. Saturday, February 11th at 10 p.m., Victor Ortiz fights Andre Berto in a rematch of their slugfest from last April.
Two of our original Super 6 contestants getting back in the ring, Jermaine Taylor and Andre Durrell. And that Ortiz-Berto first fight was a barn burner.
Andre Ward, Carl Froch. Championship rounds now, the 11th, scheduled for 12 for the Super 6 World Boxing Classic Championship. Also the WBA and WBC belts on the line. This is a title unification fight, almost like a trifecta, 3 championships won in one night.
It's true, it's a lot on the line. You know, Froch is averaging 55 punches thrown tonight. In the tournament before this, he has averaged 69. So clearly, Ward has made him a less active fighter. And I think, Antonio, you made the point. Froch now really has to let that right hand go and try to land something dramatic.
Yeah, he's been holding on to it. He's been holding on to it, but right now, you know, you can see the frustration on his face. He just hasn't had a whole lot of success tonight, and that credits Ward. Credit Ward.
There's the record in the championship rounds. Obviously, both men have done very, very well. Froch lost to Mikkel Kessler over 12. That represents the one loss among the two fighters.
This fight's so important for Carl Froch, 34 years old. He is very well aware of his legacy. He wants to go down as one of the greatest 168-pounders of all time. He wants to gain the respect and admiration of his countrymen in England who have not embraced him.
You know, Andre Ward has fought a beautiful fight to this point. One thing he's doing now, though, switching left, he's squaring himself up, reaching a little bit. He is at least giving Froch an opportunity, though Froch hasn't been able to land that right hand.
Closing in on a minute to go in the 11th. Ward, so many amateur fights, so much experience.
And you know, he reminds me of a guy that in his prime rarely lost rounds too, Sweet Pea Whitaker.
Yep.
You know, and it wasn't until, you know, early that Sweet Pea was known as one of the most purest classic boxers there was, defensive specialist. I think we need to start giving Andre Ward credit for beating these top-notch fighters so convincingly out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Good left hook there by Froch, and Ward is doing it, not moving as much. He's coming forward, and he's still not getting hit a lot. And also Ward punching with more power than perhaps Whitaker did, certainly more. Froch is landing some nice punches this round, but not enough.
Tense moments ringside for the Lady Loves of these two warriors.
You can tell how this fight's going simply by watching these two ladies. Clearly, they reflect it.
Stay off the ropes. Carry his shots away like we worked on him. Come back in for me, please. Come back in for me. Parry the shots. Be highly intelligent.
This one, guys, we touch him in the center.
Make him pay for missing wild.
Head movement, 1-2 and up throwing. You've got to stop him, but you've got to do it smartly by doubling up with the right hands. 1-2 right hand left hook and go again with that last right hand and he stands up for it. You listening? 1-2 left hook, right hand and go again with the right hand. He switched on. Come on, head movement.
We are ready for the 12th and final round of the Super 6 World Boxing Classic title. And also the WBA and WBC Super Middleweight belts on the line. Virgil Hunter telling Andre Ward, be smart, intelligent in this final round. Nice combination by Froch.
The best combination of the night for Froch.
And Ward shook his head at him like, okay, that was good. Carl Froch fighting with the urgency that he needs to have in this last round. Unless it is some bizarre scoring, Froch has to be behind.
Over here. Time, Arthur. Wash, wash, wash. Wash, wash, wash. Wash and put it in. Come on, baby. Keep your hands up, man. Stay smart. Time in.
Andre Ward has landed 231 punches to 147 for Froch. Clear demonstration of how he's controlled this fight.
2 minutes remaining in the 12th and final round. Will Andre Ward remain undefeated and improve to 25-0? Take the Super 6 championship as well as both belts? Or can Carl Froch somehow figure out a way to stage a miracle here in AC? Left hook connecting for Ward. Froch eats another left hook.
Loading up with the right hand, Carl Froch, because McCracken told him you've got to land that punch, but he paid for it with the counter.
Yeah, he's fighting desperate right now. He's putting it all out on the line, and that's what true champions do. But right now, it's a little bit too late. I mean, Andre Ward has boxed masterfully, and he should get all the credit he deserves if he's fortunate enough to finish this fight and get his hand raised as a Super 6 champion.
Been a brilliant performance by Andre Ward on every level.
Speed, the biggest factor in this fight. Andre Ward, not only speed offensively, but his speed on defense.
Yes. I mean, he's been elusive. It's been very hard to hit. Again, like that. I mean, just classic boxing, man, and sometimes you just have to appreciate it.
I think he just looked up at the clock, too. So even clock management, one of his skills.
23 seconds to go in the Super 6 World Boxing Classic Championship. It's been a 2.5-year journey that ends here tonight in Atlantic City. Andre Ward with a smile. Andre Ward, 8 seconds away from 3 championships. Left hook connects for Ward. Closing the show, Andre Ward.
And you know what's interesting? Well, watching this crowd jump to its feet, this was a very interesting and fun fight to watch. It wasn't a wildly exciting brawl, but they jumped to their feet because of the skill of this man, Andre Ward.
Yeah, and that's what we've been preaching all night. I mean, the guy is unbelievable with his speed, quickness, reflexes, and timing. I mean, he's going to be a tough, tough man to beat now. We want to see, will that Boutte fight get made?
A lot of storylines in this division, and this man's going to be right at the center of the main ones.
Andre S.O.G. Ward, Son of God. Lamont Peterson, newly crowned champion, in the ring as well.
Here is action for the last round in which the Ward left hook became a factor again. Now here's where there's some chippy action, and Froch acting as if the Ward head was an issue, and maybe it was, but this is right at the end of the fight. And Ward gets hit with a big left hook, and it sent his mouthpiece out. But again, the power punches of Froch were not enough to do serious damage to Andre Ward.
What a road, though, it's been for Carl Froch. This man, just a terrific fighter, incredible warrior, traveling all over the world. Are you listening? And we will have the decision in just one moment, but right now, let's go to San Diego, California for a report.
Thanks, Gus. We anticipate the decision in Atlantic City tonight here at the Valley View Casino Center in San Diego. We are bringing you two title fights featuring two of the very best in the sport. Gilbert El Nino Melendez will defend his lightweight title against the very tough former street fighter from Miami, Jorge Masvidal. Melendez, a two-time and reigning champion, 9-1 under the Strikeforce banner, looking for his third consecutive title defense tonight. Meanwhile, Chris Cyborg returns after a long hiatus. She is back in the Strikeforce cage. The women's featherweight champion will defend the title against the number 2 featherweight when it comes to the female side of the sport on the planet, against Hiroko Yamanaka. Cyborg has ended in very dominant fashion, and tonight she takes on a former dominatrix for all the marbles. A reminder, we'll be back at the bottom of the hour with 4 more MMA battles, including 2 Strikeforce Championship bouts. For now, we'll toss it back to Atlantic City, New Jersey for the official decision on the Super 6 final.
All right, Morrow, thank you very much, and we are awaiting the decision of the Super 6 World Boxing Classic Championship, also the WBA and WBC title on the line. And with that in mind, let's go inside the ring where our Jimmy Lennon Jr. has the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judges at ringside, John Stewart and Craig Metcalf, both scored about 115 to 113. Judge John Keane sees about 118 to 110. All 3 in favor of the winner. He is now the Super 6 World Boxing Classic Champion. He is now the unified WBA and WBC Super Middleweight Champion of the world, Andre S.O.G. Ward.
Andre Ward's wife, Tiffany, his mother, Madeline, his children, Andre Jr., Malachi, the journey coming to an end for this great champion who has won at every level. Now, he unifies the WBA and WC belt, and he becomes the first Super 6 World Boxing Classic champion. Andre S.O.G., Son of God, Ward. Let's go inside the ring where our Jim Gray is standing by with the champion.
Gus, thank you very much. Andre, congratulations to you. This has been such a long road. How did you manage to be so brilliant tonight in what you called the career-defining fight of your life?
As usual, Jim, I have to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. My Olympic run was supernatural, and me coming in here as a young puppy without any experience and winning this thing against great fighters was supernatural. I thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and I thank all the saints who've been praying for me. To answer your question, it was just a tough, hard night. Carl is a great fighter. All these fighters are great fighters, and that's why you never hear me disrespect them before the fight. I know what I'm getting into. I just want to be a little better than them on the night of the fight.
I don't have the official statistics, but it's close to more than 100 blows that you landed compared to Froch. How were you able to dominate him and keep him at bay and fight this inside fight that he didn't think you could defend?
Well, we told you guys in the fighter meeting, we told Antonio that this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to fight outside and inside. And Antonio said, whoa, listen, I think you can win this fight going away if you box. We said, Antonio, just trust us. We know what we're doing, and we pulled it off tonight.
When did you figure out, at what point, that your speed, and Antonio and Al both said it, that your speed was killing him?
Right away. I was actually surprised at how slow Froch was. You see it on tape, but sometimes you get surprised. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt and said, okay, maybe he's not as slow as he looks. He put up a great fight against, Darrell, which is a fast fighter. So I said, man, maybe he's faster than I think, but he wasn't, and we were just able to beat him to the punch, and that's what won us the fight.
And what caused you to be so accurate tonight? Was it because he was such an open target?
Well, unfortunately, again, what we told you guys in the fighters meeting and what I said in the face-off, it's not, you don't get points for leaving your chin open. And Froch said throughout the whole build-up, I couldn't punch. I know I heard him several times tonight. I saw it in his eyes. I felt it. And you just can't fight like that and expect not to get hit.
Fighters exchange a lot of words, and we've been around you a long time. I think the one thing that bothered you was late in the going, Carl told us that he didn't question your heart, but he questioned your mind. How much did that bother you?
Well, it didn't bother me at all when you told me that, because actually that's one of the strongest assets that I have is my mind. So it's just gamesmanship. He's going to do whatever he's got to do to keep his belt, say whatever he has to say. It just didn't work. I kept my composure. I stayed calm. And, we didn't want to get into the back and forth, and we pulled it off tonight, Jim. We pulled it off.
You beat Kessler, Green, Abraham, and now Froch. What does it mean to you now to be the Super 6 champion?
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It's not that, it's unbelievable to the point where we didn't feel we were going to win, but to actually pull it off is unbelievable. The UK fans were great. They gave us a lot of excitement. I wanted to stay focused and learn how to deal with that type of adversity. And again, we pulled it off, Jim, and I just thank God for it.
You've always said you've had something to prove. Do you anymore?
Absolutely. My coach, he has such high standards, Verge. He said, do you want to just win the fight, or do you want to destroy the guy and not hurt him in a personal way, but just if you want to put on a stellar performance? And I kept trying to pick it up. And, I hope I did a good job tonight in his eyes, but we can still get better, believe it or not.
What about this division? You have won all of these fights, everything that's been put in front of you. Butte is sitting out there. What would you like to do next?
Well, it wasn't the appropriate time to talk about it before this fight was over, but hey, I deserve a long rest. We're going to sit down with my team, and we talk as a team, and we're going to figure out what the next move is. We're not bound to do anything. We're going to sit down as a team, talk to Goose and talk to my coach, talk to my manager, and we'll see what's next.
Andre, we'll be back to you in just one moment. We're going to present you with the trophy. Let's now bring in Carl Froch. Carl, if we can talk to you for just a moment. What was your assessment here of the fight and how you fought?
Well, I had a bad night for a start. I couldn't really get anything going, but that's obviously due to Andre Ward's slick defence skills. He's very slick and slippery, like an eel up close. When I backed him up and I wanted to work and let the shots go, especially late on when he was very tired.
Why weren't you able to get on track? What caused that?
I was unable to let the shots go. He was very slippery, very tricky and close. When I wanted to work and let my shots go, especially towards the end when he was tiring, just wanted to put my shots together. He moves his head very low and moves and ducks and slips and slides. That's boxing, you're allowed to do it. He's very good at it. He's very good at keeping himself out of harm's way. Very clever up close, and I couldn't just get my shots off. I wanted to get my shots off. It was very frustrating for me in there, and that's why it was a bad night, because in sparring I have sparring partners like that, and for 2 or 3 rounds you can't get anything going, but on the big stage when the lights and the cameras are on, you're trying so desperate to get your shots off and hit them, you can't think about sitting back and relaxing. I needed to take a little step back and just relax, calm down, and just throw the shots, not load up, not trying to hit him too hard. So, fair play to him and credit to Andre. He's very good up close and he's very good defensively, very good at keeping himself out of harm's way. It was difficult for me to get my shots off, it really was.
Did he throw off your game plan because you had felt you were going to have to cut off the ring and chase him somewhat, but he was willing to fight inside and you felt that would be to your advantage?
Yeah, up close when he was leaning on me. He seems to be able to get his head there and his shoulder in a way, and he obviously works on that in sparring. He works. I don't work on that much. It's not my game up close, leaning. It's my game up close in in punching range, having a fight, you know, letting shots go. But like I said to you a few days ago, he's either up close smothering your work, so you're unable to get the shots off, or he's too far out of range. And I never found myself in the zone where I could let my shots off and get going. So something to work on definitely in the gym.
Final thought. You have had the toughest schedule maybe of anybody in boxing the past 3 years. What will you do now?
I'll speak to Rob, see what's next, speak to my promoter Eddie Hearn, and have a look at what other options we've got out there. I honestly feel I can beat Andre Ward on a good night. It's going to be a tricky, tough match. It really would be. I mean, I lost tonight fair and square, don't get me wrong. But to beat Andre Ward, I need to be working on certain technical different things. But there's other fights out there for me that I can provide many nights of entertainment with other fighters, you know.
Carl, thank you. Been a pleasure to watch you.
Thank you.
All right, and now we're going to present the trophy to the champion. It's been a long time in coming.
Well done. Very slick.
No hard feelings, man.
None at all. None at all. Trying to get on your skin a little bit. He was very tricky, very slick and smooth up close. You kept out of harm's way, and you won the fight. It's as simple as that.
I appreciate that, man. Take nothing away from you. We knew what we were getting ourselves into. You're going to be champion again.
Nice one, man. Appreciate that.
You got a great coach, man.
And if you turn around right here, Andre, here's what you've been working for. The Super 6 World Boxing Classic champion, Andre Ward.
We did it, baby. This is unbelievable. We did it.
And we all
Congratulations, Andre. All right, Gus, back to you.
And congratulations to Andre Ward. The cup handcrafted at the Thomas Light Workshop in London. Workshop manager spent nearly 30 man-hours constructing the prize made of pure silver. The remaining piece, only the engraving of the name of the champion. And we now know that will be Andre Ward. Gus Johnson along with the champ Antonio Tarver and the new Hall of Famer Al Bernstein. Al, we'll start with you, and I want to start with Carl Froch.
Yeah.
You know, Froch talked a lot.
Yeah.
He's a great promoter of the sport, but he's such an honest man, and he's such a good man, and he understood that on this night, Andre Ward was the better fighter, and he admitted it.
His honesty was refreshing, and I thought Andre Ward's demeanor and that exchange they had at the end, I find that absolutely excellent for the sport. This man at 34 gave his best effort, and it came up just a little bit short. The show stat numbers give us an indication of the level to which Ward controlled this fight. And one of the keys there is the fact that Ward did so well in the jabbing department, a place where Froch would have considered that he would have won the fight, and also Ward throwing more punches, or almost as many punches, not expected.
But Andre Ward, on the other hand, champ, as we turn to you, I tell you, he's won at every level. He won the gold medal at the Olympics. He has now won 2 titles, as well as the Super 6 World Boxing Classic Championship on the same night. Continues to be underestimated by his opponents, but he continues to show them that once you get in the ring with SOG, it's a whole different story.
Yes, he has shown us all that, and it's just time that we start to give him the credit that he's due and the recognition that he's due. I think in coming in before the Super 6, I said the winner of this tournament, especially with the road they had to travel, should be a consensus fighter of the year. And I think Andre Ward represents that, and he's undefeated. He hasn't lost in forever. There's no blueprint, and I think he can go on and right now pick and choose who he wants to fight and defend against, and it's going to be a great fight no matter who he's in front of. It couldn't have happened to a better guy.
And a look at the press row scoring. Interesting.
Yeah, very close. I personally thought the 2 115, 113 scores were closer, way closer than we had. The irony of all that is the 118, 110 score was the British judge, who I thought had it scored a little more the way we saw the fight.
Okay. So, quickly, Al, a look at the division and what's coming up next. Where does Andre Ward go? Where does Carl Froch go? Quickly.
Yeah, you know, the fact is this division is full of potential stories and great fights, and we can't wait to see all of them.
All right. Well, coming up next, the second half of our Combat Sports doubleheader featuring champions Gilbert Melendez and Chris Cyborg and a pair of Strikeforce title fights from San Diego. What a night for Andre Ward. A champion is crowned the Super 6 World Boxing champion here in Atlantic City. For Al Bernstein, Antonio Tarver, Jim Gray, and our entire crew, this is Gus Johnson saying so long, everybody. From all of us, have a great holiday. Strike Force is next right here on Showtime.